So, have you ever really stopped to think about what's happening right now? How you're, well, seeing me? It feels so simple, doesn't it? You just open your eyes and boom, the world is just there. But what if I told you that the common sense way we think about vision is completely, totally wrong? Well, today we're going to go on a little myth-busting journey to discover how you really see the world. No, I'm serious. Really think about it for a second. Right now, your eyes are getting bombarded with this chaotic storm of light particles. It's a total mess. So how on earth does your brain take all that static, all that noise, and turn it into the stable, clear world you see around you? You know, the most obvious answer? Yeah, as we're about to find out, it's almost certainly wrong. Okay, so here's the game plan for our little journey. We're going to start with that common sense theory of seeing, and then we're going to poke some massive holes in it. We'll see how it tries to patch itself up, watch it fail spectacularly, and finally, we'll uncover a completely different and honestly a much more mind-bending way our brains actually work. All right, first up, the common sense theory. The fancy name for it is empiricism, but let's just call it the Lego brick theory. Trust me, it's the perfect way to get your head around it. So the basic idea here is that your senses are just dumb collectors. Your eyes don't actually see a table. They just see little patches of brown, some bits of shadow, maybe a straight line here and there. Each one is a separate, totally meaningless little Lego brick of sensation, just raw data with no connection to anything else. So according to this theory, perception is basically a three-step assembly line. Step 1. Your senses gather up all the bricks, the colors, the shapes, the textures. Step 2, your brain runs back to its huge memory library to find the right instruction manual. And step 3, it uses those memories to assemble all those random bricks into something meaningful, like a table. Simple, right? So meaning isn't out there in the world, it's just something your brain adds later. But you know, this neat and tidy Lego theory, it starts to fall apart the second you look at, well, pretty much anything. The problem starts with something as basic as an outline. Think about it. When you see any shape, you don't just see a bunch of color bricks. You immediately see a figure that stands out from a background. The figure has a clear edge, right? But the background, it feels like it just keeps on going behind the figure. That outline isn't just another brick, it's a relationship, and the Lego theory has no way to explain where that comes from. And this is the critical flaw. I mean, if every single sensation is just a blind, isolated Lego brick, how does it know its job? How does one red brick know it's part of the important outline of a stop sign, while the red brick right next to it is just meaningless background? The Lego theory has no answer. The meaning just seems to be there from the very start. So how does the Lego theory try to fix this gigantic hole in its logic? Well, it pulls out its secret weapon, memory. The official term for this fix is the association of ideas. The argument goes something like this. Okay, fine, the sensations themselves are dumb, but your brain is smart. So when it sees a few dots in a certain pattern, it goes, aha, that reminds me of all the other circles I've ever seen. It associates the current meaningless data with a meaningful memory. In this view, memory is like the superglue that sticks all the random Lego bricks together into a world that makes sense. This whole memory patch thing sounds pretty plausible until you look at how your perception actually works, especially when it glitches. Because this is where the entire Lego theory just completely, and I mean completely, falls apart. The philosopher Maurice Merleau-Ponty totally nailed the problem with this brilliant quote. What he's saying is, to know which memory to go look for, your brain must already understand what it's seeing. It's a complete circle. You can't use the memory of a ship to build the image of a ship unless you've already recognized a ship-like pattern to begin with. And these perception puzzles, they show the glitch perfectly. Okay, first, picture seeing a ship's mast behind a forest. At first, it just looks like a tree. All your memories of masts? Useless. Then suddenly, pop, the whole scene just reorganizes itself in your brain, and you can't see it as anything but a mast. Or what about the proofreader's illusion? Your brain is so focused on the meaning of the sentence that you literally see the word deduction when destruction is what's on the page. And my favorite, you can stare at one of those camouflage pictures knowing a cat is in there, but your cat memory is totally useless until the pattern just reveals itself to you. These examples are the knockout blow. If your perception is just a blind factory worker grabbing random data bricks, how does it know to go search for the ship memory file and not the tree memory file? It can't. The memory theory just doesn't hold up. So if the Lego theory is just plain wrong, what's the alternative? Well, it comes from a field of philosophy called phenomenology, and the main idea is a complete 180. The revelation is this: we don't add meaning to the world. We find a world that is already meaningful. And the difference here is huge. The old theory sees the world as a meaningless puzzle that you have to build from scratch. But the new theory says the world is an organized, living landscape. Meaning isn't added later. It's the very first thing you perceive. You don't build your world, you discover it. So what this means is that perception isn't about construction. It's about recognition. It's that aha moment when the mask suddenly pops out from the forest or the cat appears in the camouflage. The meaning was there the whole time, just waiting for you to see it. This quote just gets right to the heart of it. Think about it. When you see a really delicious piece of cake, your first perception isn't brown, circular, textured. Your first perception is, oh, yummy. When you see a snarling dog, you don't perceive fur, teeth, dark color. You perceive danger, the emotional, the functional meaning that often arrives before the basic sensory data. So the crucial point, the big takeaway, is this. Let's just throw out that whole Lego brick theory. Our brains are not assembly line computers, piecing together a meaningless world from scratch using little bits of data and old memories. The whole model is just backward. Instead, we open our eyes and we find ourselves in a world that is already making sense. It's a world of things, of paths, of obstacles, of opportunities. The structure is already out there, in the world, and our perception is just our way of tuning into it. So the next time you just look around the room, ask yourself this: are my eyes just collecting data, or is my brain discovering a world that is already packed with purpose and significance? The answer: it might just change how you see everything. Because you're not just seeing things, you're seeing meaning itself. Thanks for tuning in.